Hello and welcome to Bulimia Sucks. I'm your host, Kate Hudson-Horn. Thank you so much for listening. This is a platform for people to share relatable and uplifting and inspiring conversations based on an eating disorder. And it's for people that we talk to people that are struggling right now with their eating disorder and sharing their personal stories and their difficult journeys and how they have taken those steps into recovery. And then plus talking to professionals who work with people with an eating disorder who may have had in the past their own struggles with an eating disorder. Now, my audiobook is live on Audible and Amazon and iTunes, Bulimia Sucks. And if you'll be interested in a free copy, then please email me at katehudsonhall@gmail.com and I can send you the code for free. So you can just go in there and then download it. So let me know. And the other thing that I'm very excited about is I have written a book to help break through anxiety behaviors with many different ways to do this, which at the moment it is now in the proofreading process. And then it'll be ready to go to the formatters, and then it'll be ready to get out there. So it's very exciting. And it's going to be called Anxiety Hacks. And I think proven techniques, tools, and tips to calmness. But I'll keep you updated. Now, our fantastic guest today in episode, are you ready for this, Sarah? We're at episode 100. You're the 100th guest.
Yay! Yay, so fun.
It's so exciting. So our guest today is Sarah Blankenship Thomas. Fitness became Sarah's first love after dealing with childhood obesity and then teenage anorexia. Her love for fitness quickly turned into over-exercising and under-eating as a young adult. In her early 30s, after experiencing weight gain and fatigue from the eat less, move more approach, she set out on a mission to create a comprehensive wellness plan for herself to feel better and look just as good. We like that. Sarah's a personal trainer, fitness instructor, nutrition coach, business mentor, and the founder and CEO of Burn Fat and Feast, a lifestyle program for women who feel stuck and frustrated with weight loss. And there's many people like that, and also their overall well-being. Burn Fat and Feast provides a proven step-by-step system that educates and empowers women to finally shed the excess weight, increase metabolism, and stop that yo-yo dieting once and for all. At Burn Fat and Feast, she teaches women, and I love this, to live life to the fullest by focusing on progress over perfection. Oh my gosh, how we all strive to be perfectionists. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so thrilled to talk about all things eating disorder related and share my story today.
Yay! It's amazing to have you on. Thank you so much. We want to hear your story about how you ended up where you are today. So where would you like to begin?
Well, my eating disordered time frame really starts from, I would say, when I was 8, 9 years old. I was an overweight child. So I started out being very overweight. Did not grow up in a house that talked a lot about food, what food did in your body, and, healthy food versus food that maybe you should leave, for treats and that sort of mindset. So I just ate what was available, was not the most healthy food, and I was overweight. So fast forward to my middle school years, right. I entered middle school feeling very down, very down on myself. I didn't feel like I fit in. And if you're watching the video recording of this, I have red hair. And so, that was different in my life. And so when you're a kid and you have something that's different, it makes you feel like you're the outcast. And most kids want to feel like they fit in. They want to fit in with the crowd. They want to be in with, what everyone else is doing, how they're acting, what they look like. And that's where I was in middle school. I didn't want to stand out. I was overweight. I had red hair. I was super duper shy. And so that led me down a path of just not eating. I stopped eating. I did not eat. I didn't eat breakfast. I went to school and nibbled on a few things at school. We lived a very on the go life. So we didn't have dinners at home on a regular basis. A lot of times our dinners were in the car. So again, I would just nibble on some food. And that led me down the path of anorexia. I started losing weight. And people started to notice that. And so because I was getting leaner and people were noticing, recognizing it and praising me for it, it sent me down the path of more.
Yeah,
and
no,
more
that's
and
a
more.
whole really another ball game, isn't it? Because it's encouraging you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I suddenly felt good about myself. I suddenly felt like what I was doing was the right thing to do because these were people that never really noticed me before. I felt recognized. I felt like one of the other teenage girls that went to middle school with me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what do you remember about that time?
So I remember initially feeling elated. I felt proud of myself because I had done something different to change. And at that time, it was more body image, change my body image or change my physical body. And so I felt good about what I was doing, not eating. And so I had that high for a bit. When I was 14, that all came crashing down. I was a competitive baton twirler, and we traveled all over the United States and actually the world to do competitions. And I found myself in a place where I had no more energy. I couldn't complete my sport. I vividly remember sitting in the floor of our bathroom, crying, lying down next to the toilet, feeling like I could not physically get up. I didn't have the energy to get off the bathroom floor after a day of competition. And so that led me to the hospital. My parents sent me to the hospital. And from there, they basically told my parents I was way undernourished and underweight. And so that led me down a path of slight recovery. That truly was not recovery at that point, because as I entered as I entered college, I went down another path.
Right. So what happened after, your parents were told that? What happened?
So once we were told in the hospital that I was malnourished, my parents were a little bit more in tune to what I was doing, what I wasn't doing. And so we had a family discussion about how to eat healthy, how to move our body well. And so I began eating healthier foods. Towards the end of high school, I gained some weight. I started eating better. And then from there, I went to college. Unfortunately, when I went to college, I was on a scholarship that required me to weigh in every single week.
Why?
So, yes. So, from a history of an eating disorder as a teen and trying to move down a path of eating better, I didn't go down a path of therapy at that point in time. I should have, but I didn't. Entering college and knowing that I needed to weigh in every week, suddenly
Why
my
did you have
weight
to
was a
weigh
big
in?
deal. Good question. That's a really good question. I'm not sure. And I don't think they do this now, but when I was in college, they wanted this certain body type. And so we had to weigh in every single week, and we had 5 pounds plus or minus 5 pounds that were our leeway pounds. And if we were over that, we had to sit out. So I was a majorette in college. And so we had to sit out versus perform on the field. And so it was a big deal We didn't want to be over our weight. And so at that point in time, I felt like I was on a good path of healthy eating. However, let's be honest, I was in college and there's pizza and there's, all the college type of food that were all around. So that led me down a path of over-exercising. So I wanted to feel a part of college and the experience of college. I knew I had to maintain that 5 pounds on the scale. So I suddenly started over-exercising to make sure that I could hit that 5 pounds on the scale. And then it turned into that spiral of, well, if over-exercising doesn't work, I'm just not going to eat for a time frame until I get on the scale.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. So it's like a spiral of,
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So if you had gone over the 5 pounds and you had to sit out, you couldn't be involved in the sport.
Right. We would not be able to participate that weekend. And then we had another chance the following week. Wow. Yes. So I felt like it was such a roller coaster. I was in a bad place as a young child. I felt like I was in a better place, but obviously wasn't doing it healthy. And then I felt like I went right back down into that path of disordered eating plus over exercising as a college student.
Oh my gosh. So then I suppose it just all deteriorated, just continued down that slippery slope.
Yes. So after college, I continued over exercising. At that point in time, it was more of a mental health issue for me. I felt like that's what I needed to do. I need to work out 2 hours a day to keep
whatever
this
you
up.
eat, then you had to burn that off.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I was also involved in some pageants, which again was not the best for the body image and mental health aspect. So I felt at the end of the day, I felt like everything that was around me wanted me to fit into this box of perfectionism and this box of, you need to do better to be here because we need you in this box. We need you on the scale to be at this weight. We need you to look like all the other girls in this pageant. And in order to do that, you need to exercise more. You need to eat less.
Yeah. So it's reinforcing all that you've been doing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So you were in your 20s and it was a pageant.
Yes, my early 20s.
What sort of pageant was it? Because we have to remember we don't have pageants over here. So I know the kids over there, they do pageants, but adults do pageants, do they?
So I wasn't involved as a kid. I got involved in college and into graduate school. My motivation behind it was to earn scholarship money for graduate school. So the Miss America organization is what I was involved in. And so it's a big scholarship based organization. So by winning your local pageant and going to your state pageant, you earn scholarship money for your education.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I get it now. I get it.
Different world.
I thought that it was going to be like a child's pageant.
No.
Got that completely wrong, didn't I? So how long were you sort of involved in that?
The pageant's a very short time, 2 years. I did one year, went to the state pageant and did another local pageant and went to the state pageant again. So the 2 years. And then at that point in my life, I was in graduate school, and I think the growth started happening, the maturity started happening, where I felt like, okay, I've put myself in these situations that are not best for me as a person and for me to grow mentally, because if I don't grow mentally, I cannot grow physically and get out of this snowball that I felt like I was in. So I pulled myself out of that realm of things and really started to work on myself. And that began mentally with some self-love.
And how did you do that?
So I have been in cycles through since then, and I'm in my mid 40s now. But since my early 20s till now, been in a cycle of journaling and brain dumping everything. And so I will wake up in the morning and brain dump everything to
Oh,
get it out of my head.
oh,
Then I will start organizing it into buckets, work buckets, self-care buckets, kid things, whatever. But from that brain dump, then I feel like I have space on my head
yeah.
to actually create what I need for myself. And so I start writing some of the things down that I love about me, that I'm proud of about me, gratitude. And I like to do that in the morning and night. Now, it's not a perfect world. It doesn't always happen. But when I do that, I feel so much better, not just mentally, but physically. I hold myself differently throughout my day. And so I am a huge advocate for putting it on paper, and not your phone. There is power to pen to paper on things. And
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
I'm a huge fan.
Amazing. And so what do you feel that gives you, that journaling, or doesn't give you? So apart from the release and clearing your mind, what else does it do by writing out those difficult thoughts maybe, or the difficult feelings? How do you feel afterwards, because of that?
Yeah, afterwards I feel a sense of love inside me, for sure. I also feel that it's really easy, and I'm a mom of three. It's easy to move on with your day and check things off your list. And so for me, it allows me and it reminds me that that time is important. And so for me, it's a reminder to stop. And stopping is what allows me to create the space to grow.
Yeah, yeah. And clearing your mind, stopping, and like, I love the fact that you've got your buckets, and it's actually, let's have a look at what's important for the day here and what's just, normal nonsense that, flies back and forth in our brains that, we quite often can pay a lot of attention to when we don't need to, and it's all negative and shouldn't really be there, but we have a choice whether we listen to it or not. And so what I find for a lot of my clients is, by them journaling, they find that by writing out their feelings and those thoughts, it helps for them to feel so much calmer and more relaxed, and just be able to let go of those thoughts and feelings. And then, like you say, clearing the mind for them to be able to think about things that they want to think about.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree 100%. And it by putting it on paper, it also allows you to acknowledge the feelings. Sometimes, we take the feelings and we can push them back and push them back. They're still there unless we voice them or write them. And
Yeah,
so it allows me to acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way? And what can I do to move forward from that feeling?
absolutely. Absolutely. And that is such a key. So this is how I'm feeling, or these are my thoughts. So what can I do differently to be able to take myself forward? Marvelous. Oh, I say, come on, everybody. Now you've got to start journaling like Sarah. Come on, every morning and every evening.
Journaling is one of those things. It's so simple, and there's no rules. There's no wrong or right. For a long time, I thought, okay, I need to have the perfect book planner that's, prompting me for all the things, but there's no rules. I think once you allow yourself the time, sometimes I think it can feel overwhelming. 3 to 5 minutes is all that it takes to do this. So you allow yourself the time to do it, and you don't put any boundaries. You don't put rules around it. I feel personally that you are able to freely go, feel all the feels, write all the things, and then it flows. It will naturally flow.
Yeah. And I do say to some of my clients, because they do feel a bit nervous in the beginning about doing that, you don't even actually have to read it back if you don't want to. It's just getting it out of your mind.
Yeah.
And then over time, you may feel like you want to read it and learn from what you've read, but it's actually just getting it out and, and just letting it go.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Oh, fabulous. And what other help did you have? Did you have therapy in the end to help you
I
at that
did.
time?
I did. And as a young adult was in and out of therapy, definitely took a time away from therapy, not because I didn't want to be in therapy, but in all honesty, did not make time for the therapy as I was having children and I was in the trenches of early motherhood for a while. Um, but I am back in therapy. I'm in therapy now.
Fantastic.
And this is another thing I highly recommend that everybody do. Go to therapy. Go to
Absolutely.
therapy.
Everybody should be
Stay
having
in therapy.
therapy. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's
And not, you don't, I think there's such a misconception around therapy. You don't have to have a problem, so to speak, to go to therapy. Therapy is good for the soul no matter what. I was just telling a friend the other day, she said, "You're in therapy? Why?" I said, because I want to be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a better business owner. I want to always learn and grow rather than be complacent. And we we find complacency if we don't continue to search for how we can be better human beings.
yeah, absolutely. And we all have different experiences all the time throughout each and every day. And some things, yeah, we can deal with, and other things are like, oh, I haven't come across this before, whatever it might be. And it's being able to, talk that through and understand that about that person or about yourself or whatever it is, and learn from it to be able to move on.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. I really feel like journaling is the first step to that. And then therapy takes it deeper. It's the next step into not just writing the feelings out, seeing it on paper, but talking through some of those things that feel hard, that feel difficult.
Yeah. And so what do you think was the actual key moment? I know roughly the time of when you decided that you were going to make a big change, but what sort of drove you to that thinking?
There were many things happening in my life at that time. I was in graduate school, about to graduate. I was living in a college town. Uh, I felt like from so many experiences that I had had as a child, traveled many places during my teenage years, and different people that I was around in college, I turned into myself to think, okay, I can see this person, I can see their positive and negative characteristics. I can see that, and I can see this from this person, but I couldn't see it for myself. And so the turning point for me was I had all these experiences, and I knew everyone's characteristics and everyone's personality was different, but I really couldn't see it for myself. I could not see my strengths and my weaknesses myself. I saw a lot of my weaknesses, but I couldn't see my strengths. And so I started to hang out with some different people who really helped me pull those strengths out of myself. Not that they gave me daily affirmations, but were acknowledging the things that made me me. And so I
Yeah.
began that journey of hang out with a few different types of groups that I felt like were along the path of learning and growing themselves versus, like we just said, complacency, and felt myself growing with them. That really started the path for change for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then look how far you have come.
Yes.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yes.
So tell
And
us, tell
yeah.
us what you're doing now. Tell us about Burn, Fat and Feast.
Yeah. So Burn, Fat, and Feast pretty much was born because of my journey. I grew up as the perfectionist. I wanted to fit in the box. I was told to fit in the box. I was told, to be the perfect this person and that person and all the things that needed to happen to be perfect. And I really feel that as a general rule, women feel that on a daily basis. How can you be the perfect mom? How can you be the perfect wife? How can you be perfect in your career? And it's drilled in on top of us regularly. We feel it. We feel it all over. And so I needed to find something that I could do personally, wellness related, that was healthy, that allowed me the mental space to feel that I wasn't depriving myself, and the space where I could do well for my body physically, but not overdo it. And so I began to just guinea pig these things on myself. I dove into a lot of research on nutrition and fitness and how everything kind of fits together, mindset. So I pulled all the pieces together into what I felt was missing, because at the end of the day, most women just say, well, I want to lose weight. And they do the eat less, move more approach. And so I wanted to do it differently, because I knew that it wasn't just about physical health. It was about the mental health as well. And so we talk a lot about mindset. And so I pulled a lot of that in for myself. And so once I started doing it, I opened it up to the world organically, and it has been in the world for almost a decade now. And it helps women not only change some, number on the scale, which we are not fans of the scale at all, but it helps them feel better from the inside out. And it really gives them a place, a community to feel supported, and a community that will lift them up when they have those bad days, because they happen. And like you mentioned earlier, our motto is progress over perfection. And we say that every day, to give yourself grace, progress over perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. It's, you've got to start from the inside and then work your way out. Otherwise, you're never going to change.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. That's the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we all have, particularly people with an eating disorder, like we said in the beginning, that, they strive to be perfect. And that's not possible. So it's working with that limiting negative belief and starting to break it, to loosen it, starting to first of all be aware of it, and then loosen it, and starting to begin to let go of that tight hold that it has on you.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And from working with women myself and having my own experience with an eating disorder, oftentimes, again, kind of following that progress over perfection mentality, and, thinking that we need to be perfect all the time. It's not a straight line. You don't have a straight line to success with your eating disorder. You don't start at the ground level and just make progress and progress and progress and progress. It's a curvy line. It's 2 steps forward and then maybe a step back, and then maybe a step forward, another one back.
Yeah, with that recovery.
But that's part of the journey.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. And that is, that's what happens, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Knockbacks. Oh,
yes.
And so, Sarah, how can people find you? So you've got lots of videos on your website.
So we have a lot of training videos within our Burn, Fat, and Feast program. So for our members, we do educational trainings every single day. And we have new workouts. We have a meal plan, all the pieces to what I was mentioning earlier. That's within our membership. On our website, you can certainly find out more about who we are, what we believe in, and our website, burnfatandfeast.com. At the top of the website, you can also opt into a free training, which is 5 days. It's a 5-day free training, and it will give you more insight as to what our philosophy is behind nutrition, workouts, the mindset piece, and our accountability as well.
Oh, I love it. So I take it is all online.
Yes.
But then you also teach it, I suppose, where you live.
Yes. So the Burn, Fat, and Peace program is all online. So we have members near me. We have members across the US. We have members in Europe. We have members all over the world. So that's the beauty of it. And our community, it makes our community even more amazing, because we have so many different approaches and mindsets as we come into our online community space together.
Amazing. And so do you do webinars and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. We do webinars. I do live trainings throughout the month for all of our members who want to hop on with me. I also do a live workout every single Saturday for our members. So
Oh,
they get to interact with each other as well as just getting the content that we offer on the website.
amazing. And I suppose, how have you found it since, after the doors have opened since lockdown? I mean, has it, because that was a really difficult time for so many people, and so many
Yes.
people developed so many bad habits at that time. So have you found a big increase since then?
So what I found when lockdown started was our community actually was stronger. We were coming together more often in our online space. Our members were actually healthier than ever because they had the tools. It was business as usual for them. They already had the tools, they had the training, they knew about their hormones, metabolism, all the things that we talk about within our membership. So for our members, they thrived.
Yeah.
We were stronger together.
Yeah.
For people who were not members and joined us after lockdown and once the pandemic started to ease up a little bit, they were all coming to me saying, I need help. I have totally let myself go mentally, physically, and emotionally. So yeah, within our community, we saw something very different versus what was happening outside our community.
Yeah. Wow. Look how far you've come. This is just incredible, Sarah.
Right. And I hope that inspires people that are
Well, I was going to
listening.
say, what an inspiration you are for so many people. And to, it's so kind of you to come on and share your sincere and honest, genuine experience for people to, to be able to learn from.
Yeah, I hope it does inspire at least one listener out there to know that wherever you are and wherever you start, there's always more to come. There's always better and better and better. You can always learn and grow.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Sarah. Well, thank you so much for this
You're
powerful
so welcome.
podcast.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And everybody, please go and check out Sarah. burnfatandfeast.com. Is that right, Sarah? Good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yay. Okay, good. Well, thank you so much, Sarah.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yay. So that's all for today's episode of Bulimia Sucks. So thank you to everybody for listening. And before we go, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on Apple iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you may listen. And if you get a moment, it would be great if you could leave a review also. So thank you for listening, and I'll look forward to speaking to you in the next episode.